My wife started taking late-night walks, then I found a business card for a H-Tel tucked in her coat pocket. So I checked our home security system. What I saw made my hands shake. That night, I sat in the dark, holding the card, and said, "Did you have a nice walk?" She turned around and screamed. I'm Mark, 42, married to Sarah, 40, for 15 years. We have 2 kids, Jake and Emma, aged 10 and 8. We live in a quiet neighborhood in Chicago. Life was routine, predictable. I worked as an accountant. Sarah was a part-time graphic designer. Our days were filled with work, school runs, and weekend soccer games. I thought we were happy. A few months ago, Sarah started taking late-night walks. She said it helped clear her mind and was a way to get some exercise. At first, it was once or twice a week. Then it became almost every night. She'd leave around 10 p.m. and return after midnight. I didn't question it much. We all need our space, right? One night, she came home later than usual. I was half asleep on the couch when I heard the door creak open. She tiptoed in, probably thinking I was asleep. The next morning, I noticed her coat draped over the chair. Something inside me nudged me to check the pockets. I don't know why. Maybe it was intuition. I reached into the right pocket and pulled out a business card. It was from the Grandview Hotel downtown. Fancy place. On the back, in neat handwriting, it said, Room 512. Friday, 9 p.m. My heart pounded. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she met a friend there. Maybe it was for work. But deep down, a seed of doubt was planted. That evening, after Sarah left for her walk, I sat in the dark living room, the glow from the street lamp casting shadows on the wall. I remembered our home security system. We had cameras installed around the house for safety. I pulled up the footage from the past week on my laptop. The videos showed Sarah leaving the house and walking down the street. A black sedan would pull up a few houses down. She'd get in, and they'd drive off. Every single time. My stomach churned. Who was in that car? Where were they going? I couldn't sleep that night. My mind raced with possibilities. The next day at work, I was a mess. I couldn't focus. I decided to take the afternoon off. I needed answers. Friday came. The day on the card. I told Sarah I had a late meeting and wouldn't be home until after midnight. She nodded, barely looking up from her phone. Around 8:30 p.m., she started getting ready. She wore a red dress I hadn't seen before, did her makeup meticulously, and sprayed on perfume. By 8:50 p.m., she grabbed her coat and left. I waited a few minutes before following her. The same black sedan was parked down the street. She got in, and they drove off. I tailed them, keeping a safe distance. They headed downtown, straight to the Grandview Hotel. I parked across the street and watched them enter. My hands trembled. I decided to go in. The lobby was elegant, with chandeliers and marble floors. I approached the receptionist, a young woman with a warm smile. "Good evening, sir. How can I assist you?" she asked. "I'm meeting my wife here." I lied. She might have checked in already. Room 512. She tapped on her keyboard. "Let me check." "Ah, yes. Ms. Sarah checked in earlier. Would you like me to call the room?" "No. Thank you," I replied quickly. "I'll surprise her." I took the elevator to the 5th floor. My heart pounded with each ding. Outside room 512, I hesitated. Voices and laughter came from inside. I knocked. The laughter stopped. Footsteps approached. The door opened slightly, and a man peeked out. He was in his late 40s, graying hair, wearing a dress shirt with the top buttons undone. "Can I help you?" he asked, puzzled. "I'm looking for my wife, Sarah," I said, my voice shaking. He looked taken aback, but then stepped aside. There, sitting on the edge of the bed, was Sarah. Her eyes widened in shock. "Mark?" she stammered. "Surprised to see me?" I said, stepping into the room. The man cleared his throat. "I should go." "No," I said, blocking the door. "I think we all need to have a chat." Sarah buried her face in her hands. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "Sorry," I echoed. "For sneaking around? For lying? For betraying our family?" Tears streamed down her face. "I never meant for it to get this far." I turned to the man. "Who are you?" He looked uncomfortable. "I'm David. We met at the gym." I clenched my fists. "How long has this been going on?" Sarah looked up, her eyes red. "A few months." I took a deep breath, trying to control my emotions. "Why, Sarah? Why do this to us?" She shook her head. I felt lost. After the kids, after everything. I needed something, someone, to make me feel alive again. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So you risked our marriage, our family, for this?" She sobbed. "I know I messed up. I don't expect you to forgive me." I looked at David. "You should leave. Now." He nodded, grabbed his jacket, and left without another word. I sat down on the chair across from Sarah. "We need to figure out where we go from here." She nodded. "I'll do whatever it takes to make things right." We left the hotel separately. That night, I couldn't sleep. The image of Sarah with another man haunted me. The trust we once had was shattered. Over the next few weeks, we attended couples therapy. Sarah ended the affair and cut all ties with David. She showed genuine remorse. But the road to rebuilding trust was long and painful. I wish I could say that things went back to normal, but they didn't. The scars remained. We took things one day at a time, focusing on our children and trying to heal. Infidelity is a wound that cuts deep. It challenges everything you thought you knew about your partner and yourself. While forgiveness is possible, Forgetting is not. All I can hope for is that, in time, the pain will lessen, and we'll find a new normal. To anyone going through something similar, know that you're not alone. Seek support, whether from friends, family, or professionals. Healing is possible, but it requires effort from both parties. A few weeks after the hotel incident, things felt quiet. Too quiet. Sarah was trying. I could see it. She was around more. She asked questions about my day. She even offered to cook dinner again instead of ordering out like we had been for months. I wanted to believe it meant something. But trust doesn't come back just because someone says sorry. One evening, I got home a little early from work. The kids were with my sister for a sleepover, and I thought it'd be a decent chance to talk, maybe unpack some more of the mess between us. I walked into the house and heard voices. Sarah was on the phone in the kitchen, talking low, but not quiet enough. She said something that stopped me cold. No, he hasn't found out about that part. That part. My stomach dropped. I backed up before she saw me, went to the garage, slammed the door like I just got home, and walked in like nothing happened. She hung up the call fast and smiled. Too fast. Too wide. Hey, you're home early. Yeah, I said, pretending not to notice anything. Everything okay? She nodded, but her eyes didn't meet mine. That night, I couldn't sleep. That part repeated in my head like a siren. I knew I shouldn't have, but I checked her phone while she showered. Nothing. Not a single suspicious message. Not one odd contact. Her call log had been wiped clean. The next day, I drove to the gym where she met David. I didn't know what I was looking for. Maybe just trying to understand what had started it all. I didn't expect to see her car parked in the lot. She told me she quit the gym weeks ago. I sat in my car for 2 hours. Around noon, she walked out, not in workout clothes, not sweaty. She was laughing. Not alone. A man walked next to her, not David, but younger, late 30s, muscular, tan. I stayed low in the seat, heart pounding. They didn't hold hands or anything, but the way she leaned in, the way he smiled at her, it was too familiar, too comfortable. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't sleep either. 2 days later, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside was a single photo of Sarah and the same man from the gym. The angle was from behind, but clear. They were at a bar. Her hand was on his arm. His was on her leg. I stared at the photo for a long time. Then something clicked. David wasn't the whole story. There was more. A lot more. I went to a friend from college who worked in IT security. I asked for help checking into Sarah's laptop. He didn't ask why. Just handed me a drive and said, plug this in and bring it back tomorrow. What I found shocked me more than anything yet. There were emails. Lots of them. Sarah had a separate email account. One she didn't use at all for family stuff. She'd used it to register on some shady dating forums. Not just with David. Not just the gym guy. There were others. I couldn't read all of it. I couldn't stomach it. But one message caught my eye. It was from someone named Tommy. He said, glad you got rid of David. He was getting clingy. Can't wait for the next round. That's when I realized David wasn't a mistake. He was just one in a line. The hotel wasn't a one-time slip. It was part of a pattern. When I got home, Sarah was folding laundry. She looked up at me like nothing was wrong. And for a second, I didn't know what to say. She had no idea what I knew. No idea I had proof. I sat down on the edge of the couch and watched her like she was a stranger in my house. And I waited. Because I needed to know how deep the lie really went. And I wasn't going to ask yet. I was going to find out everything. She turned to me and smiled. Want some coffee? I smiled back. Sure. Did you have a nice walk today? She froze. Just for a moment. Then turned slowly. And for the second time in a month, she screamed. She screamed like I'd hit her. But I was across the room, arms folded, just watching. The cup she was holding slipped from her hand and shattered on the kitchen tile. Coffee splashed across her shoes. She didn't even look down. She just stared at me, wide-eyed, trembling. What do you mean? She asked. I didn't answer. I just stared. That was enough. She stepped back like I was dangerous, like I was someone new. Maybe I was. I asked. I said again, calm, steady, if you had a nice walk. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then, I haven't gone on walks in a while. Right? I said. Not since I caught you at the Grandview with David. Her voice cracked. I told you, it ended. I stood, reached into my pocket, and held up the envelope. Her eyes dropped to it and instantly filled with panic. What's that? She said, already backing up. I opened it and held out the photo. Her hand flew to her mouth. Then she tried to cover it with a fake cough like it was something else. You forgot to tell me about your new gym buddy, I said. She didn't even deny it. It wasn't like that. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Not like that? You're touching his leg in a bar. Her head dropped. I was lonely. No. Don't say that again. Don't hide behind that. She was silent. Her hands started trembling. Who's Tommy? I asked. Her head snapped up. Her lips parted like she was going to lie again, but then she stopped. You went through my stuff? After everything, do you really want to talk about privacy? I said. She sat down at the kitchen table like someone pulled her strings out. For the first time, she looked tired. Broken. Then she said something I wasn't expecting. He's from work. I blinked. What? Tommy. He's a client. At the design firm. We worked together last year on a project. Things started getting personal. He was charming. I was bored. He made me feel wanted. That's all. I stared at her. That's all. She looked up at me. You have no idea what it's like. You come home, eat, watch TV, fall asleep. You stopped looking at me like I mattered. That hit me hard. But I didn't let it show. So you cheated. She didn't answer. That's your solution. Still nothing. I turned away, disgusted. How many, Sarah? I deserve that much. She didn't answer right away. Sarah. She whispered it. 5. It felt like someone punched the air out of my lungs. I staggered a step, hand gripping the counter. I didn't love them, she said quickly. It was just attention. Stupid. Quick. I never wanted to leave you. I turned and looked at her. Really looked. And for the first time in 15 years, I didn't recognize the person in front of me. You already left, I said. You've just been sleeping in my house. I left that night. I told her I needed space. I didn't even know where I was going. I drove until the gas light came on. Ended up sleeping in my car at a rest stop outside Joliet. The next morning, I had a text from a number I didn't recognize. You should know. She's not done. No name. Nothing else. My blood turned cold. I texted back. Who is this? No reply. I tried calling. It went straight to voicemail. I sat there for 5 minutes, heart pounding, replaying every single thing in my head. She swore she stopped. Swore it was over. But the photo came after that. And now this. I drove back to Chicago, didn't go home. I went to the design firm instead. Sat in the parking lot until I saw her car. I waited. 2 hours later, she walked out, again with the same man from the bar. Tommy. I recognized him from the photos I'd found. Only this time they kissed. Not a goodbye kiss. Not a thank you for lunch peck. A full, slow, deliberate kiss. Like nobody could see. Like I didn't exist. I didn't follow her home. I didn't need to. That night, I sat in the dark again. This time, at my friend's place. Just me, the photo, the texts, and a new plan forming in my head. She thought she had the upper hand. She thought she could lie, then backpedal, then lie again. She didn't know I was done being the fool. She didn't know I was already 5 steps ahead. 2 days later, I put everything into motion. I didn't tell Sarah I was coming home. I knew she'd be working late again. Client meeting, she'd said. I'd heard that one before. I printed out the emails, the photos, the anonymous text. I even printed the screenshot of her kissing Tommy outside the firm. I placed everything on the kitchen table. Each sheet spread like cards on a poker table. Truth laid bare. Then I texted her, can we talk? I'm home. I sat in the living room with the lights off again. Same spot as the first night I knew something was wrong. Only this time, I wasn't confused. I was ready. An hour later, the front door creaked open. She walked in humming. I watched from the shadows. The moment she turned and saw the papers on the table, her body locked up. Her purse slipped off her shoulder and hit the floor with a soft thud. She didn't speak. I stood. What's this? She finally whispered. You tell me, I said. She picked up one of the pages, the kiss photo. Her hand shook. Was this before or after you told me you wanted to work things out? Her voice was small. You spied on me? I laughed. That's what you want to go with? After cheating, lying, gaslighting. You want to accuse me of spying. She tried to stay composed, but I saw the panic crawl up her throat. You said you wanted to fix things, I continued. You went to therapy with me. You told the kids we were doing better. And the whole time, you were still at it. Her mouth opened, but no words came. You're a liar, Sarah, I said, louder now. You don't just cheat. You manipulate. You dragged me through hell and smiled the whole time. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said quietly. Bullshit. The front door opened again. Jake and Emma came running in. My sister, Claire, behind them, looked confused. Hey, Mark? Everything okay? I froze. Claire saw the table, the papers, Sarah's face. She immediately stepped in. Kids, go upstairs. Now. They stopped laughing. Looked up at us. My face. Sarah's tears. They knew something was wrong. Claire knelt down. Go up, all right? We'll talk later. When they were gone, Claire turned to us. Mark, what is this? I handed her the stack of printed emails. She read quietly. When she looked up at Sarah, her eyes were stone cold. I defended you, she said. I told him to give you a second chance. Sarah sobbed. It's not what it looks like. Claire threw the pages on the table. It's exactly what it looks like. Sarah sat down like her legs gave out. I didn't know how to stop, she whispered. Claire's voice cracked. You didn't want to stop. I was scared. I stepped forward. You weren't scared, Sarah. You were selfish. She wiped her nose. I didn't think you'd find out. There it was. The truth. I nodded. I know, I said. You never thought I would. That's what hurts most. Silence filled the room. You could hear the clock ticking. Claire looked at me. What are you going to do? I didn't answer right away. Then I looked at Sarah. I'm filing. She gasped. No, Mark, I'm done. Please, don't do this. We have the kids. You should have thought about that the first time. Or the second. Or the fifth. Claire didn't say a word. Just crossed her arms. Sarah's voice broke apart. I don't want to lose you. You lost me already, I said. You just didn't notice. That night, I packed a bag and stayed at Claire's place. The kids didn't ask questions. Not at first. But a week later, Jake asked if Mommy was sad. I told him sometimes grown-ups hurt each other even when they don't mean to. That we were all going to be okay. I wish I believed it. Sarah sent emails, left voicemails, showed up at Claire's once, crying on the porch. Claire sent her away. She wanted one more chance. I had nothing left to give. In the end, we separated peacefully for the kids. But the damage was deep. The divorce went through in 6 months. I got shared custody. She moved in with her mother. Claire still talks to her for the kids, but never about anything else. I don't hate Sarah. I don't even think she's a monster. But I don't think she loved me, not really. I think she loved the idea of being loved. And that wasn't enough. Looking back, I can't believe how long I stayed blind. But now, I see clearly. I learned that love isn't always enough. That trust, once broken, isn't always fixable. That people can change, but not always in the way you hope. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I deserve peace. And tonight, sitting here alone, I finally feel something close to it. Divorce. Trust broken beyond repair. Narrator begins healing.